Chapter 12, 55. Zhao Lianyun's death. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. Clap, clap, clap. A series of claps could be heard. It is indeed Phantom Path. A Gu immortal showed himself. This person was tall and well-built, with residues of a beard on his face. His eyes had no white color, being completely black. The most eye-catching thing was he had a skin-like black cloak draping behind him. Alright, Bu Zhenzi's pupils shrunk slightly as he recognized this person. Since the central continent Gu immortals had come to save Ma Hongyun, how could they not have information on snowy mountain-blessed land? So it is Shadow King. Bu Zhenzi lightly spoke, pointing out the other Gu immortal's identity. At the same time, he also realized he was now at the 7th peak of snowy mountain-blessed land. Previously, this 7th peak's owner had been Shui Songzi. However, after Shui Songzi died, a demonic path Gu immortal joined of his own accord, and it was this person. In fact, snowy mountain-blessed land was a place which Northern Plains demonic path Gu immortals were attracted towards, especially those demons who were wanted by Huangjin tribes, needing to find a reliable backer like old ancestor Shui Hu. Perhaps there were also some Gu immortals wanting to prolong their lives who joined snowy mountain-blessed land because of Lady Wan Shou. Naturally, because old ancestor Shui Hu was refining fortune rivaling Heaven Gu, it caused the morale of the members of snowy mountain-blessed land to drop. Shadow King looked at Bu Zhenzi and laughed. You guys from Central Continent truly came running into death. It isn't certain who dies yet, Bu Zhenzi sneered. Is that so? Shadow King suddenly turned into a pitch-black shadow, pouncing towards Bu Zhenzi. Rumble at the next instant, muffled explosions resounded from the 7th snowy peak. The large hall shook. Large amounts of snow that had accumulated on the mountain rolled down, forming a small avalanche. Different from what Bu Zhenzi had expected, Zhao Lianyun was not alone, but also was not with all the other immortals. 12th peak. Both sides had already started fighting. Oh, 2 little ants. See how I step on you and send you to death. The 12th snowy peak lord called out and stepped fiercely with his right leg. The 12th snowy peak lord had transformed into a giant with the head of a bull and body of a human. His 2 legs had also turned into thick and firm bull legs. Bam! The bull legs stomped, creating a deep pit. The peak lord had powerful might. The 2 central continent Gu immortals quickly retreated. One was Zhao Lianyun, and the other was Shi Zhongyi. Zhao Lianyun was slightly pale. The enemy was a giant while she had limited battle experience. This no doubt created strong mental pressure on her. Shi Zhongyi had rolled away on the ground. Barely dodging the bull leg, he was clenching his teeth. Damn it! He turned around and stood up from the ground. Take this. Le. Shi Zhongyi opened his mouth, flicking his tongue like a fast mechanical spring. With every flick, a crimson sword light shot out from the tip of his tongue at an extremely fast rate. Zhao Lianyun was speechless for a moment. Normal people could only curl up their tongue. Some might not even be able to do that. It was the first time Zhao Lianyun had seen someone's tongue actually contracting and darting forward like a mechanical spring. The crimson sword light was extremely sharp. The 12th snowy peak lord had transformed into a giant, which had thick skin and a sturdy physique, but the crimson sword light opened up holes all over his body. So painful, the 12th peak lord cried out in pain and raised his arms to protect his head. For a moment, he could only defend and could not attack. All his momentum from before was suppressed. So powerful, Zhao Lianyun praised. Naturally, this is my vital immortal Gu sword tongue Gu. Shi Zhongyi flicked his tongue, sending out crimson sword light while also replying to Zhao Lianyun. The strange thing was that his voice was clear even then. Are you a sword path Gu immortal? Zhao Lianyun asked. Ah, no. I cultivate information path, Shi Zhongyi replied. Speaking while still fighting. So you are so strong. Zhao Lianyun had a new level of respect towards Shi Zhongyi, this person who had thick eyebrows, large eyes, and was somewhat lacking in brains. Hey, I have sworn to defeat all the evils and demons in the world. Shi Zhongyi looked quite pleased and smug. Don't be so happy. The 12th Peak Lord roared. Boom! An overwhelming aura suddenly erupted from his giant body. The majestic aura shot everywhere, creating a huge airwave. Not good. It is an immortal killer move. Defend! Shi Zhongyi and Zhao Lianyun defended with all their might, but it was of no use. The airwave was extremely powerful. The two were like a pair of small toys, easily sent flying. With the 12th Peak Lord at the center, the floor tiles of the hall started flying all around, turning the whole scene into chaos. Thump, thump. Zhao Lianyun and Shi Zhongyi crashed into the walls, throwing out mouthfuls of blood. Their whole bodies were suffering from intense pain, their internal organs were bleeding, and their bones were fractured. No, with one attack, the 12th Peak Lord had completely turned around the slight disadvantage and now had the upper hand. This is a Chi Path killer move. How could it be so powerful? Zhao Lianyun and Shi Zhongyi endured the pain and struggled to stand up. The two were sent flying and were quite far from each other right now. How was it? Did you like my Zhao Danyu's immortal killer move, Rising Heaven Bull Chi? You are young and also powerful. Unfortunately, my battle strength is amplified in this formation, and it has risen to rank 7 level. How can you possibly compete with me? Ha ha ha! Zhao Danyu laughed loudly. His laughter filled the hall like a huge wave. Watch as I stomp you to death! Suddenly, Zhao Danyu stopped laughing, gazing malevolently at Shi Zhongyi. He bent his waist and knees and suddenly jumped towards Shi Zhongyi like a small hill. Rumble! A loud crashing sound echoed as Zhao Danyu pressed Shi Zhongyi to the ground. Shi Zhongyi! Zhao Lianyun cried out in shock. This was a horrifying sight, being crushed by the heavy Zhao Danyu. Would Shi Zhongyi not be turned into meat paste? But the next moment, Zhao Danyu's back protruded up. Shi Zhongyi stood up from below, lifting Zhao Danyu up with his hands, and with a yell, he actually pushed Zhao Danyu away. This was like a small rabbit pushing away a lion. This unimaginable scene caused Zhao Lianyun to open her eyes wide. What? My transformation has the weight of a desolate beast bull. You actually pushed me away? Even Zhao Danyu found it unbelievable. Shi Zhongyi was coughing up blood. After pushing away Zhao Danyu, he knelt down on the ground, extremely tired. This is the power of justice. Shi Zhongyi spoke with difficulty. Don't speak, you are coughing up too much blood, Zhao Lianyun called out. Bullshit justice. Zhao Danyu pulled himself together and charged towards Shi Zhongyi again. He was extremely huge, but right now his speed was like the wind, not fitting with his body size at all. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Danyu was right in front of Shi Zhongyi. Ah, look at the power of my justice, Shi Zhongyi shouted, and actually collided head-on. Bam! A muffled sound echoed. Zhao Lianyun felt pain in her body just from hearing the sound. Shi Zhongyi was like a small ball that was thrown far away, coughing up large amounts of blood. Then, like a broken sack, he fell to the ground, his blood dyeing the path red. Hey, I will kill you, eh? Zhao Danyu was just about to rush forward and give a fatal blow to Shi Zhongyi, but he had just stepped forward when he found his whole body was tied by a bright silver chain. At the other end of the chain was Zhao Lianyun. She had already been preparing to activate her immortal killer move. Unfortunately, real battle was different from practice, especially this intense atmosphere which caused Zhao Lianyun to fail twice in activating her killer move. But it was fortunate that Shi Zhongyi had stalled for time, and Zhao Lianyun finally succeeded on her third attempt. Immortal killer move, life-locking silver chain. Cough, cough, thank you. This killer move is really beautiful. Obtaining precious time for a breather, Shi Zhongyi crawled up from the ground, coughing up blood in between his words. Don't speak, you are still coughing blood. Zhao Lianyun was worried for him. Hey, you don't understand. I cultivate information path. By continuing to speak, I can heal my injuries. The louder I shout, the more powerful my attack becomes. Shi Zhongyi spoke of the reason. Little girl, you are annoying. Zhao Danyu roared and exerted strength from both of his arms, trying to break the chains on him. But no matter how much strength he used, he was unable to break these chains. Since it's like this, Zhao Danyu gave a malevolent smile, activating the killer move Rising Heaven Bulki. Boom! An intense explosion shook the hall. The surging air wave erupted once again, and this time, it sent the ceiling of the hall flying. Clang, clang! Crisp sounds echoed as the silver chain broke into countless pieces. Before these chain fragments touched the ground, they turned into specks of silver light and disappeared completely. Zhao Danyu used his main killer move to destroy the life-locking silver chain and was free now. On the contrary, Zhao Lianyun and Shi Zhengyi were struck by the airwave again. Both coughed out blood as they fell to the ground, unable to stand up. Damn it! Shi Zhengyi wanted to climb up, but his whole body was on the verge of breaking apart. As for Zhao Lianyun, she had already fallen into a stupor. Her injuries were worse than Shi Zhengyi's. Because life-locking silver chain was forcefully broken, Zhao Lianyun had suffered backlash. Adding on Zhao Danyu's immortal killer move, her injuries had worsened. She had rank 9 Love Immortal Goo, but from the start of the battle, she had not seen Love Immortal Goo being activated. Love Immortal Goo could not be controlled. Even if it showed its strength, it might not necessarily be the correct solution to the problem. Darkness. The stupefied Zhao Lianyun felt she was floating amidst boundless darkness. This is the feeling of death? So this is death. I must be the biggest failure of a transmigrator in history. I actually died at the hands of an irrelevant side character. Let me just go down like this. After I die, I won't have to feel so exhausted and anguished anymore.